welcome to my third tutorial. In this video we'll be talking about setting variables. So a variable is basically something that you set a value into. To set a variable you basically do something like int x equals 1. So basically what this is saying is that x equals 1, and because 1 is an integer you put int before it. So int is basically like a shorter term for integer, so it's basically saying integer x equals 1. So if you wanted to set x to a decimal, you do something like float x equals 1.5, and that will set x equals to 1.5. Because I have x already defined, I can't set x to two things because I'm storing x into 1 already, so I can't store another number into x. So I'll change x to y. So here I'm saying x equals 1 and y equals 1.5. Now let's put this into the function. So here we have x equals 1. We could just change that to x equals 200 and then go into the function where it says ellipse. Here we have ellipse on 200 on the x-axis. We could just change that to x because x is already 200, so it'll just be the same thing. So let's go ahead and run that, and you can see that the image stays the same. So now if you change x to something like 300, you can see that it gets all messed up. Now we could go back and fix his face. So let's change the x back to 200. So now let's say we want his eyes to get bigger. Here we have his eyes right here as two ellipses, and his eyes is 30 by 30. So we could change the 30s by x. So replace the 30s with x. And now we could set their eyes to, let's say, 100 and run that. And here he has some big eyes. So let's say that you want his eyes to grow bigger instead of just like getting bigger like that. So now we're going into a little more of the animation stuff. So what you do above everything in the draw function, you would set x equals x plus 1. And basically what this does is it takes the value of x and it adds it by 1 over and over again. So let's just run this and see what it makes. So here you can see his eyes growing bigger and bigger, and it just fills the screen. So if we wanted the eyes to get smaller, you just change the x plus 1 to x minus 1, and that will make his eyes grow smaller. Now let's say that you want his eyes to move across the screen. What you would do is change the x value in the ellipse to x. So now this will make his eye move across the screen towards the left, I believe. So let's go ahead and run that, and here you can see that his eye moves towards the left. Now let's say that you don't want the black streak that it makes. So to do that, you simply just put a background color above the function. So you do something like background, and you give the background a RGB color. So I want the background to be white, so I'll give the background function 255, and that's basically the color for white. So let's go ahead and run that, and here you can see that it doesn't make that black streak. Now let's make both eyes move in sync. So to do that, you'd basically set this to x plus 150. So the reason why I put x plus 150 is because here we have x equals 100. So if both eyes are on 100 on the x-axis, like they won't show up as two different eyes. So let's just delete 150 to show you what that would look like. So here it would just show as just one eye. So to give that space, basically you just put x plus 150. So I'm saying that for X, add 150. So I'm giving it a space of like 150 pixels away from my other eye. So if you go ahead and run that, you see now we have two eyes moving across the screen in sync. Okay, that'll be it for this tutorial, and I'll see you guys in the next one.